Long ago, I made a 10 favourite Master System games, and to tell you the truth, I've been wanting to do the other consoles. But life just seems to get into the way like that. So I said, sod it, I'm making this. I'm going to make this before I make anything else, because it's been way too long, damn it. And quite frankly, there is nothing more hardcore than the 16-bit black box. With way more games you can shake your fist at, there was always a reason to buy a Mega Drive. Or at least emulate them to see what you're missing. Like before, I will really only be naming games that I've actually played and enjoyed. Only one game per franchise, and each game will be presented in alphabetical order. Because truly, all of these deserve first place. But that's why it's called a 10 favourites, not a top 10. So let's get this started. First up is Earthworm Jim. The first thing that hits me is that this game has a sense of humour. It doesn't take itself seriously, but at the same time, this isn't a pushover either. You can't just walk through this and expect to clear it with no effort. It's tough, and it'll take a lot of practice and patience, even to make a dent in this thing. It's super colourful with amazing animated characters. The design of the worlds that you visit are outstanding, and that soundtrack. Ooh, just listen to this. And that's why this game makes the list. Golden Axe 3. Now a lot of people out there prefer the second game overall. But why? The third game is great. The combat is way more refined, the lands that you travel through are beautiful, and you have a choice of where you want to go with branching paths. Plus, if you have a second player, you can pull off some amazing duo attack stuff with your friend. The characters, enemies, bosses are so much more detailed and look great, and the music goes brilliantly with what's happening, and you will always be kept on your toes. Oh, and the magic attacks look so much cooler this time around, and that's why this game makes the list. Nobody saw this coming. A fresh new development studio appears, and the first thing they make is Gunstar Heroes. And just wow, this really is just a must play if you're into your run and gun shoot 'em ups. First thing, the design of the levels and the music. The two just blend perfectly. No matter how many times I died, I always wanted to go back because of that soundtrack. There are two styles of playing. One is a run and shoot, and the other is a stand and shoot, and both can be chosen at the start of the game. Plus you can mix and match a ton of different weapons to use, for a grand total of 14 different ways to destroy your foes, and that's why this game makes the list. Phantasy Star IV is my favourite out of the original 4 games. A lot of people say the second one is the best, but come on, really? The fourth one has everything that made the first 3 games great, and mashes it all together. It's fantastic. The characters are perfect, they actually have personality, not just a wall of text for you to read. I actually ended up caring so much about my party, and there was a sense of true sadness when one of the main characters died. And here's a true fact, this is the first game that ever made me cry. The turn-based battles have improved so much, and the parts where you explore outside of the towns have improved too. Before I got so bored of seeing the same thing wherever I go. But this game, there are landmarks, and the land twists and turns just like a true landscape would. And the music. I would pay so much money if Phantasy Star IV's soundtrack was remastered with an orchestra. Seriously, this shit is brilliant. This game alone got me into the RPG genre of games. And from that moment on, I couldn't wait to see what other RPGs Sega had to offer. And that's why this game makes the list. At some point, Sonic Team decided that they didn't want to make Sonic games anymore, So feast your face on the first game that isn't a Sonic game that's made by Sonic Team, Ristar. And this is a game not a lot of people knew about. It came out the same time as the Saturn's release, so you know, slow sales. But there is nothing more beautiful than the Mega Drive. I think this is the best looking game on the system. All the colours just bounce off the screen, and nothing seems out of place. Ristar fits perfectly within each stage. And also the gameplay is so unique. There is nothing out there that's like it. Using your arms to stretch around and bounce off the walls and enemies, taking out all the bad guys as you go on your great journey. Also, the game is quite challenging the first time you play it. Even for someone like me, who knows the game quite well, I still find it rather tricky sometimes. And that's why this game makes the list. If you were a Sega fan, you knew the Shinobi games. Starting from the arcade, porting to the Master System and getting a 16-bit upgraded brother on the Mega Drive was amazing, but the third title of the game took what you knew and changed it all. You were faster, you could pull off better moves, you had more flexibility to travel, and your jutsu was even more better and more effective than before. It truly felt like that Joe had learned more from his past journeys, and you could see his strength grow. And not to mention the boss fights. It was an amazing sight to see these new characters and creatures. And the music, oh, I love it to no end. It is honestly a must play for anybody. I would love to see this game remastered. Hell, I just want to see more Shinobi games, but not like the one that was on the 3DS. That one was weird, but that's why this game makes a list. It's hard to believe for somebody who never played the earlier Sonic games that this little blue guy demanded so much respect, and one of the games that pushed the hardware to the limit and the players to the max was Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I know this is technically two games, but the two games joined together to become one massive adventure, and the way that it was meant to be played. So take that for what you will. To me, this is the best 2D Sonic game to date. A gigantic adventure, orgasmic soundtrack, outstanding level design, and a bunch of little touches that make this oh so special. Like Act 1 and 2 being different from each other, so that it feels like you've progressed well. And the music changes ever so slightly to keep that supporting feeling. The boss fights have been improved from the past games, and the special stage have been changed from challenging but not cheap. And also there was a new character you could be. Plus, if you did some digging, you found out that Knuckles' playthrough takes place right after Sonic's playthrough. And plus you could play as Tails, so there were 3 gameplays to go through. And if that wasn't enough, there is a grand total of 14 Chaos Emeralds to collect, and all characters can turn into their hyper form. So it was totally worth it to see all these. And by the way, Doomsday Zone. Now that is how you finish a game. And that's why this game makes a list. Streets of Rage 2 is just epic. Third game was good, but there was something strange about it that turned myself and a lot of people away from it. But 2, my god, just perfect. Grab yourself a buddy and play the whole damn thing. Perfectly animated and bigger sprites, and the music is a great improvement from the first game. Bosses had way more personality in their motion. Also, each bad guy that you faced had a health bar, not just the bosses. Also, the stages that you play through are so good. So many colours, and you had no idea what was going to happen next. You were in a baseball field, nope, now you're underground in a illegal fighting ring. Walking through a theme park, now you're in the nest scene from the Alien movies. So many curveballs, and so many good times to be had. And that final boss. Woof. Just go and see it for yourself. And that's why this game makes the list. Seriously, this game has way too many versions of itself. I suppose this is a perfect example of what it would be like if updates and DLC were a thing but the internet didn't exist. Super Street Fighter 2. Out of all the different versions, I like this one the best. Simply because it has the most characters. And to me, when it comes to a fighting game, you've got to have a great choice of characters. Plus, Street Fighter's fighting mechanics are already so solid, so it's kinda hard to find a fault in its design. Also, the variety of stages and music that go with each stage is perfect. Just a great fighting game, a true classic that'll be remembered forever, and that's why this game makes the list. Thunder Force 4, the best shoot 'em up on the Mega Drive. I know it's all about taste and what it is that you like best, but this has the most badass soundtrack ever. I always get super pumped up whenever I hear it. Also, the artwork is so unique. Getting to choose where you want to go in order of the first screen, you visit some very colourful locations, but filled with some of the most dangerous foes. You'll have to be hot on the mark if you want to be able to survive. It isn't easy, but you'll be equipped with the best weapons for the job, and you will be put to the test with the boss fights. They are just what you'd expect from a shoot 'em up game. Huge, with a big old ugly face and giving you a bullet hell experience. Plus the creatures in this game just look great. I seriously get a Panzer Dragoon vibe from this game and its different designs. And if you know me, I love my Panzer Dragoon, and that's why this game makes the list. I said this before with my 10 favourite Master System games, but rating these titles really does nothing but strengthen our own reasoning for liking a certain system and its games. Because not everyone will like what you like, it's impossible. So the only way that we can bring any form of empty solace to what we like and talk about it is to just hope to Christ or any form of deity that when you open your trap next time and talk about the game that you like, that the person that's listening to you will give just as much of a shit as you do. And truly, that's just how you human beings go. Because something that gets 10 out of 10 on IGN, to me, doesn't even get a mark. Thank you for watching this one, and it was fun to make. As normal, I'll do a shout out. So, gameplay and talk, final boss games, and Terra C music. Check these people out, see if you like them. You know the drill. Subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Have a good day.